today's Japanese slang term is handon, which refers to a half day. Now, this is probably one of the oldest slang terms I've talked about. Is it slang? It's been around for long enough that maybe it's not. I don't know. Who cares? I want to talk about it. But most sources say this term has been in use since 1876 or so to refer to a half day of work or school. The han here comes from half, obviously, but the don actually comes from Dutch, because it is a shortening of dontaku, which comes from the Dutch word Sonntag, which I probably mispronounced terribly, which refers to Sunday specifically, but in Japanese has evolved into a term for both Sundays and like days you have off. I don't think you'll see it much in 2025, but it is in Japanese dictionaries, like it has had historic use, and it's even like extant in the name of a Japanese festival still. But general arguments are that handon, the half Sunday, I guess, started seeing use again in the late 1800s, as public officials started to get half days on Saturdays. And now I can't confirm this specific origin, but I can confirm that it existed in texts dating back to 1890, as you can see here, where it appears twice. And indeed, you can even see it following doyobi, so referring to Saturday, unlike again what Sonntag used to mean. Or probably still does mean. This use then continued quite a bit by Japanese school students, as up until around 1992 to 2002, Japanese school students used to go to school on Saturdays for a half day, so that was called their handon. Now, obviously, as we are in 2025, handon is not like the popular term it used to be, but it absolutely still exists. You can see continued interest on Google Trends, and it is not hard to find uses of it on Twitter, etc., dating back to the start of Twitter in 2006-2007, up until uses in the current day. So if you are having a half day or taking a half day, handon is absolutely a word that you can still use to describe it. Although if you're a non-native Japanese speaker, people may be surprised that you know this term, and it probably sounds a little bit old. But if you have that half day though, you might want to fill it with even more work, right? To get more money. And there's a newer word you can use to describe that, which is tsukima baito. This is a combination of tsukima, which is like a gap, and then baito, coming of course from arubaito. So a tsukima baito is a job, a part-time job that you do for like a few hours or a day on a time that you normally have free. This term is seeing more and more popularity nowadays, like it's appearing in Japanese news shows when they talk about it, and it has been specifically encouraged by a number of Japanese apps and like dispatch things that let you just sign up to work in a restaurant or to do an odd job, some kind of task, like walking around Shibuya. I don't know how that makes you money, but I guess it does, for a few hours without any kind of training or formal hiring. In particular, a company named Timee is associated with this, as you can see in this tweet here, as I guess they allow you to go and do that kind of work. And no, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. This is not a secret ad. This is not Sutema. But indeed, it's kind of worth mentioning them, as at least when I Google tsukima baito, they're the first result that comes up. But they are in no way the inventor of this term, as this company was founded in 2018, and I can find uses of tsukima baito going back to 2010. Well, sorry, that's a lie. Use. This is the one use I could find. But at least somebody was using this term at this year. And indeed, it seems like 2010 or so, for the next few years, it was not a super popular term. Like 2010 to 2013 gives us 5 tweets, but it's still more than 0. So it did exist. It just increased more and more as more apps and companies, etc., came out that allowed you to do these kind of tsukima baito. People started talking about it more and more. And indeed, another influence, an unfortunate one, might just be the precariousness of work and the need for especially like college students, parents who don't have a full-time job, etc., to get that supplementary income is becoming higher as cost of living goes up and up and up. Interestingly though, this tsukima baito term might have been spawned by a similar term, as if we go back to that list of tweets between 2010 and 2013 and look at the one in the middle, they actually also refer to something called tsukima benkyo, or studying in your off time. That's something I encourage you to do because I work at a university. And I can find use of tsukima benkyo online going back to 2009. That's only 1 year before tsukima baito, so given that we can't say these data are absolute, they might have come out around a similar time, but who knows, tsukima benkyo may have been first. But then people started talking more about tsukima baito instead because tsukima benkyo doesn't make you any money. Indeed, if you look on Google Trends, neither term shows any real interest till about 2020 or so, and there's no question that tsukima baito is far outpacing tsukima benkyo in terms of interest, etc. Which as a sensei kind of makes me sad, but again, I understand because I don't pay my students. So do keep in mind though, for these terms, it's not like something where you just kind of do something on your phone for like 15 minutes and make a little bit of money. These do have to be kind of blocks, and there are kind of funny metaphorical terms, as in this person who's responding to a tweet where someone's like, hey, I have to go to a party with my senpai that I hate, what should I do? And they propose paying someone to do a tsukima baito where they wear a full mask because, quote, looking at senpai is hard because I look up to them so much, and then just pretends to be you. Right? It's a multiple hour event that they're doing. But I imagine that if you are in Japan, if you're using Japanese, etc., these are terms that you may hear in 2025. So I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into my tsukima baito, except that I don't make any money off this, so I guess it's kind of a tsukima waste of time. But thankfully, we're all having a bit of fun.